Let me welcome Julia Rodgers, founder, CEO of HelloPrenup. Welcome to a special episode of Law Subscribed Live.
Thank you so much for having me, Matthew. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So our journey of knowing each other goes back like 3+ years, something like that, right? Uh,
Yeah, it's been a minute. I
yeah,
know.
but my listeners all know about me. What they want to learn about is they want to learn about you. So if you're not a fan of Shark Tank, and if you haven't been following all the amazing productization of legal services happening just out there in the US, Julia, you're one of these innovators. So tell us about you, your journey to Hello Prenup.
Amazing. Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. As you said, my name is Julia, and I started Hello Prenup. I am a Massachusetts family law attorney, and I was at a law firm, and I was speaking to potential clients, all of whom wanted a prenup, right? Because I worked in divorce law. And what I found is that most people, most couples getting married, were really frustrated by the traditional process, right? The process of hiring a divorce attorney, paying thousands of dollars. My retainer at the time was $3,500. And the firm required a minimum of 3 months to create a prenup. And so what I found was that most couples felt like this process it did not fit within their budget, and it didn't fit within kind of those confines of what they wanted to participate in as a couple. They wanted more autonomy over the process. And so that's kind of how Hello Prenup was born. I really wanted to leverage technology in a way that would allow couples to create a prenup in hours instead of months and for a fraction of the cost of that traditional process.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. And probably coming as no surprise to longtime listeners, as soon as I found out about Hello Prenup, I stayed close in touch with Julia. And I was one of the early attorneys, I think, that are in this attorney network. And we're just going to tease that for a moment, because first, let's talk a little bit about the Shark Tank experience, because Hello Prenup is a startup. It's not a law firm. It's a startup. And you were on Shark Tank. So what was that like?
Yes, we were on Shark Tank. So let's back it up a minute. Before we went on Shark Tank, I met my now co-founder, Sarah Beth. I got an email one day, a random email from a girl named Sarah Beth. She said, I'm a software engineer out of Seattle. I got engaged. I want a prenup. I signed up for Hello Prenup, but I can't go past this paywall or sign up wall because the site's down. And I said, fantastic, let's talk. We partnered. We rebuilt the entire app. Only like 2 weeks after we partnered, we started interviewing for Shark Tank. So we rebuilt the whole thing in like the span of like a couple of months. We relaunched it. We went on Shark Tank, which was like something wild and crazy I never thought I would do. We were the first legal tech product on Shark Tank, which was really cool. And it was a really fun experience. Like we had so much fun with planning the pitch, the wedding dresses that we were like untying and, the veil we were throwing off. And just meeting the sharks was just like such a dream. We got investment from Kevin O'Leary and Nirav Tolia, who's the founder of Nextdoor. And we've had a fantastic time working with them ever since. And it's just been really cool to be part of that, Shark Tank family and one of Kevin O'Leary's many really interesting and innovative companies.
And it's great to meet and talk with a founder who's been on Shark Tank and actually took the investment that was offered, as opposed to, just doing it just for marketing purposes.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was really important to us when we went on. Sarah Beth and I talked at length about how serious we were about taking an investment, and we were really intentional about the sharks we wanted to target. And Kevin was really important to us. You don't know who the guest shark is until you go. And then once we saw it was Nirav, we thought like, this is a perfect marriage, pun intended.
So that's super interesting. Well, I still have to imagine, though, even though you actually did take the investment and you've worked with those two, there had to have been a Shark Tank bump in terms of like people going to the website, right? Like what, and like I've read stories and like heard podcast interviews about like getting ready for that like influx. Like, were you prepared for that? What was that part of the experience like?
Yeah, it was, a lot of planning. Our team at the time was very small. It was myself, Sarah Beth, and our other co-founder, Doug. And we were just kind of scrambling. Like we were spending hours and hours and hours prepping the site. And we got incredible traffic that night during the airing. And I think Shark Tank's re-airing, we re-air in perpetuity on CNBC and syndication. And it's really fun to see every time it airs, we get a bump. So it's like, endless advertising. I can't complain.
Right, right. That earned media, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, not a term maybe a lot of lawyers are familiar with, but
Yeah. Love you throwing it out there though.
right, right. So then what was it like to become a startup founder? Because you have this legal background and now you're a startup founder. You got to learn about concepts like earned media and building a flywheel and all the startup jargon that surrounds
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Well, I'm still a student of the startup jargon. I think at the end of the day, I'm so excited about the mission of Hello Prenup. And that is really what drives us, not just the concept of being a startup. So we are really highly focused on the quality of the product, and we work with attorneys every single day in the states that we're in. And so, I think there is a real marriage here between the legal and the tech. And we are really meticulous about making sure that our product is not just something that's cobbled together for the sake of, having a startup and just, what do they say? Throw stuff at the wall and see what happens. We are really intentional about our product. And so again, it's a real marriage, again, pun intended, a real marriage between legal and technology.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where you're so focused on the niche of prenups. That's it. But even though it's your product is delivering this automated prenup based on what the couples put into the software and on the website, you kind of have like 50 plus products, right? Because you're talking about, and I don't know if you're in every single jurisdiction yet. And I know you started in your jurisdiction and have expanded ever since. Obviously, Illinois is one of the jurisdictions that you're in. But like you do have to, I have to imagine it's like a slightly tweaked product the more and more jurisdictions that you enter into, right?
Yes, exactly. So we are in 45 states and we did build out slowly. So it was Massachusetts and New York at first, and then we grew from there. I think when we aired on Shark Tank, we were only in about 14 states. Like I said, now we're in 45, and the product is different for every single state. So every single state has different laws, different rules for a valid prenup, different rules for enforceability of that prenup, different requirements on attorney services. Some states require attorney services for waiving or modifying spousal support. Some states don't. Some states require, there's something in California called the 7-day rule, right? So, we really do have to build technology or build in technology for each one of these modifications in every single state. And then we also, because we've integrated in attorneys, right, the attorneys are also able to further modify the product. And so there's this entire silo of the business that is focused on the attorney experience, and the attorney is in many ways another form of customer for us. So yes, both are very important to us.
So then let's talk about the journey of bringing like other lawyers that are not working for Hello Prenup, but have their own practices, or they're an attorney at a practice that you're bringing onto the platform. Like, tell us about the why you started to do that, and then the how.
Yeah, well, first of all, as an attorney myself, and as someone who comes from a family of attorneys, like everybody in my family is a lawyer, right? I know how important it is for people to have access to those legal services, right? I never wanted Hello Prenup to be something where people have to choose Hello Prenup or having an attorney. There was always the opportunity for customers to have both. And that because, we've been working together in some capacity since the very beginning. The way that we started that was we just had basically like a list, right? And you could go to the list in your state, and any attorney who was a family law attorney who had no ethical issues or bar complaints and had insurance, and we require malpractice insurance, of course, was able to join the list. And we had an interview with them. I would speak to them myself, help them understand how the platform worked and how their practice worked. And then we added them to the list. And so basically the attorney kind of decided what they wanted to charge, and the customer could contract with them completely independently outside of the platform. And then what we were able to do is measure how many of our customers were doing that and what they were looking for, right? And so then we would interview customers and ask them, what were you looking for when you hired this attorney? What can we do better? How can we improve? And ultimately, what we decided to do was really integrate the attorneys in as partnered attorneys, is what we call them. And I know this is a program that you're still a part of, and this is a program that I am so excited about, and I could not have dreamed about when I first started Hello Prenup, because what it does is it really opens up access at a price point that anyone can afford to those attorney services. And so the way that product works now is it's an add-on. In certain states, it's required, right? Because you're required to have an attorney in order to have an enforceable agreement. In certain states, you can choose to add this on. There is a $99 charge for a Q&A session with an attorney, and there is a $699 charge for representation or edits to the agreement. And all of the attorneys who are a part of this program, they are third-party independent attorneys with their own law firms, their own practices. Obviously, they couldn't be employed by Hello Prenup, and so they're not. And it allows us to better serve our customers because we obviously can't give legal advice. We're not a law firm. We are a legal tech platform that is basically giving people the pen and the paper. And then we are able to integrate in attorneys for those legal questions, for that representation, for those attorney edits and special customization that people require in the prenup.
And you said how you're not trying to be a law firm. You're not holding yourself out there as a law firm, even though you, the co-founder and CEO, are an attorney. You mentioned the fees that are add-ons that go to lawyers. Do they go to, I mean, I sort of already know the answer to this question, but just for people who are thinking this question and they want to know, like that $99, that $699, does Hello Prenup take any percentage of that?
No, we do not. 100% of those fees go to the attorney. That's something that's very important to me. I know from being a practicing attorney how hard it is to obtain business and attorney advertising and the cost that is associated with much of that. And I'm really proud to be able to integrate attorneys into the platform and give them business in a way that doesn't require any additional payment from them or marketing fee or financial commitment in any way.
Right. And look, business changes over time, right? So on today, September 10th, 2024, right? Like if you're an attorney in one of these jurisdictions, one of these 45 jurisdictions that Hello Prenup is in, like there's got to be a way if you're interested and those fees are acceptable to you. Because that's the other thing. It's like it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't cost me anything to be in this platform. I mean, you need to vet me as an attorney to be on the platform, to be a partnered attorney. And after that, like if I get clients through the platform, those are fees that I earn based on the work that we've pre-agreed to on what that fee should be set at to be accessible and affordable. So if that's something that's reasonable to the attorneys who are watching this or listening to this, then reach out, because I don't know. Julie and I don't have access to any information that Julie and I are not talking about live. But Hello Prenup is a business, and there's value to getting clients from a platform like that. So I don't know, and you don't have to say anything now, but I have to put on my legal journalist hat sometimes. Like there may be a fee to join that network at some point in the future. Who knows when? Maybe there never will be. Maybe there will be. But at least right now, there's no fee. And so, like, if a lawyer wants to join or they're interested, like, how do they even find out more information about this? How do they sign up?
Yeah, for sure. You can email hello@helloprenup.com and we will get in touch and we'll set up a time to chat more about it. And you're right, there is no fee right now. We do not take any marketing fee at this current point, and we don't have any plans to do that in the immediate future. Again, it's something that's really important to us. As an attorney, I understand the value in high quality legal advice and representation and access to those services for our customers who are looking for that. And that is the real driver behind the attorney services program.
Yeah, and just for those who are attending live or watching this on LinkedIn, I'm going to put in the comment section here to this event a link that explains the attorney add-on services. It's just helloprenup.com/attorneys. And you could see more about the sort of representations being made to the potential clients, the attorney clients, the Hello Prenup users. Oh boy, being in the legal tech space, you got to be careful, right?
It's constant context switching,
Right. But I just have to say, like, having been on the, in this attorney network from the early days when it was just a list and you were probably manually connecting people instead of now it's self-service, right? Like I've been in it since the early days. I'm amazed at where it's come. Couldn't have even have predicted it, but have been happy to be there the whole time. The other thing is too, and in particular to my listeners, like just how valuable it is to help these clients out with prenups at this stage that they're in. You never know, if you're a subscription-based law firm like me, what other legal services opportunities there may be for those clients that now you have represented, right? And so I have, not every time, but several times, I've been able to do additional legal work for these clients who I first was engaged with through the HelloPrenup platform. So if you have a business model that's, say, a subscription-based law firm, then you might be able to, if ethically and reasonably, and if they have those legal needs, provide other legal services for them. Maybe the fiance you're representing wants to start a business. I've had that experience. Maybe they're buying or selling a home after they get married. And if you let them know you do real estate law while you're helping them out, you could be retained for that service as well. So there's a lot more opportunities than just the one even that Julia is talking about today.
And we see a lot of that too. I mean, we have attorneys on every single state page, attorneys admitted in that state, obviously, talking about the law and talking about what creates a valid prenup and divorce law and all of these things that customers want to know and are looking for information on. And a lot of the attorneys that appear on those state pages will say to me, like, I also do divorce work. And I just happened to get a bunch of people who were looking up prenups regarding their divorce, and they hired me for their divorce, or they hired me for their estate planning, or even things that are like wildly kind of out of range for HelloPrenup. I've heard those attorneys being found for those services on the website. So I'm really proud to be able to offer that to attorneys. And I think it's something that as a company is so exciting to us to see the growth of over time. And we get between 70,000 and 100,000 visitors to our site every single month. So there's tremendous value in that as well to the attorneys.
Absolutely. And just like I'm helping promote this for you, you're giving my podcast content to put out there.
Yeah.
And I've been quoted in some articles for some of your blogs and articles that you're posting on the website. So like I'm getting published or quoted and linked to there. So this is a really great symbiotic relationship between HelloPrenup and the lawyers. Longtime listeners of the pod do not fear legal tech. But just in case this is somebody's first episode, right? Like there's a lot of potential. Like we should not be afraid of productizing legal services. And really, like, I mean, you tell me what your perspective is on this, but I feel like you're the mission of what you're trying to do to make prenups accessible and affordable to folks, and the legal services add-on feature, a fixed fee and known cost and accessible. Like that's a market of folks who weren't or didn't want to hire expensive billable hour attorneys to do prenups anyway, right?
Totally. And I think that, when Shark Tank first aired, we got a lot of flack from attorneys. And they were saying, like, basically, you're taking business away from us. HelloPrenup is going to incite a ton of litigation over these prenups. And that just isn't true. I mean, we have been able to provide an incredible amount of business. I'm not at liberty to say the numbers, but an incredible amount of business to attorneys in these 45 states for absolutely no cost to those attorneys. And on top of that, our prenups are getting enforced. I mean, we just had a customer like a month ago, and this is just one example, write us a review and say, my HelloPrenup was enforced and it saved me $95,000, right? By using HelloPrenup. And I think he's probably coming up with that number from the attorney's fees he's saved. And I think it's amazing that we're able to offer more business to attorneys in a format leveraging legal technology that is being enforced, which I think is incredible. So the quality of the product is really high quality. And I think most attorneys that I have spoken to after they see the quality of the document, I think you can attest to this, Matthew, is it's as good, if not better, than what they themselves would have written, because we are able to aggregate information from all over the country and use clauses that are edited by attorneys in specific states. I think back to your one of your original points is I think attorneys also need to consider, and many of your listeners are probably avid fans of legal tech, but attorneys are fundamentally dealers in information, right? And so we analyze it after gathering it, and then we use our legal knowledge to deliver that information to our clients. And so I think that HelloPrenup in the family law and prenup world, HelloPrenup is a tool that makes these steps more efficient. And in many ways, it's changing the way attorneys practice. And I think allowing attorneys to practice law in a way that they find more exciting, right? Which is working directly with clients, talking to clients about kind of the fundamental purpose of this agreement, and then being able to integrate those changes in versus having to, do the control F kind of like switching out the he's and the she's and all of these kind of very manual and boring tasks that we don't want to do. Like technology is taking care of that for us. And I think that is so exciting to me.
Not that that should be billable time anyway, right?
Shouldn't be billable time, but if it's, especially if it's not billable time, you don't want to do it, right? You're sending it to a paralegal or, I mean, it's just time consuming.
Absolutely. And even though you and I both agree, it sounds like that's not billable time. If lawyers try
Right.
to get away with that, that's not why you went to law school. Like, come on.
Right. And I think that a lot of for solos and small firm practitioners, which is for the most part who our HelloPrenup attorneys are, they are still the ones like that have to do that work, right? So they may not be billing for it, but it's just eating up all of their time. And that's where I think technology can help make them more efficient and then allow them to work with more clients, service more clients.
So what I'm about to say may be a little sacrilegious, like with the founder CEO of HelloPrenup, but like I do also do prenup sometimes not on the platform. Like if existing clients or new clients come to me or something, and I will tell. Thank you. But I will tell you, like the experience, and I do make a little bit more money when I do it that way because I love giving a great price to HelloPrenup users. Like the experience is not as seamless. Like, now you're back to emailing things back and forth, which I really don't want to do. Yet the clients or the other attorney like doesn't understand because we're talking about highly sensitive financial information disclosed in these documents, right? Like I want to do it over a secure document sharing platform and they just start emailing things back and forth, right? And so like just that part of it. But what I do want to say about being on the HelloPrenup platform is, any attorney or who either does or wants to do prenups in Illinois, at least, to increase the likelihood of enforceability, if it's ever questioned, both sides need independent representation. And so even in those instances where I somehow ended up doing a prenup that's not on HelloPrenup's platform, I am recommending attorneys that I've been across the table from, across the Zoom from, on HelloPrenup because they're all like your vetting process has found some incredible attorneys. They're reasonably priced on or off platform. And so like it's just been an overall pretty fantastic experience on the attorney end.
I'm so happy to hear that. That's wonderful. I mean, that's a testament to my entire team. I have an amazing legal team who finds these attorneys and vets them. And we have really great relationships with all of the attorneys who are on our platform. We're also now doing some continuing education. So as you know, we just did a seminar on artificial reproductive technology clauses in prenups. And so we're really excited to be able to offer that additional layer of education to attorneys. Something else that you said a minute ago, Matthew, is you were talking about that kind of like back and forth, the emailing of the document and like the edits and the red lines, blah, blah, blah. Well, we have an entire editor built into the back end, as you know. So the attorneys actually are able to go in, they can message their clients through the platform. They can message their the opposing counsel through the platform and they can make edits, right? And they can accept or reject those edits. So it's a really seamless experience. And it's something that we have built with attorneys in mind, with attorney input. As you know, Matthew, we send out an email every single week to all of our attorneys asking for more feedback, and we make changes. We iterate constantly based on that feedback. So those are all little things that we are so proud to have improved on for the attorney process, allowing attorneys to work more efficiently, make better use of their time, and then service more clients.
Right. I should also say what's really amazing about being on platform is also the e-notary service that comes as part of that process, right? Like it is because Illinois, we recently started to allow for e-notary, even like remote notaries and all that stuff. And just the seamlessness with which like, okay, we everyone's approved the contract. It goes out for e-signature and e-notary.
Thank you. We're so proud of that. And again, another testament to my tech team who implemented that and is constantly iterating on the process to make it better and faster. And so we partnered with a company called Proof, also a Boston company. They're the premier e-signature and e-notarization platform in the country. And they are super, super secure. I mean, from having customers through or clients through the platform who are signing, they have to show their identity. And that is something that's very important to us as an online platform. Security is paramount. And we're able to do that through Proof, through our integration with Proof.
And one more thing I just want to comment on is you said how you take feedback from attorneys. Well, I've seen some of my feedback on the Illinois prenup like be incorporated into the automation, and so I could speak from personal experience that the HelloPrenup team is very receptive to feedback, even on the form documents. If you find that you're making the same changes with every single prenup, in my experience now, I don't have to make all those changes over and over and over again, which is amazing.
Exactly. We love feedback. We love all the feedback, the good, bad, the ugly. And as you also know, Matthew, we have a cloud library. So that is where you can actually go in, you can change a clause. We obviously, anytime anything is integrated in, all the PII is wiped and you can easily edit. You can save your own clauses if there are things that are just kind of like your preference, but you don't think need to be changed into the actual prenup document. And so we're really proud to kind of make the experience more custom for the attorney as well.
All right. Well, Julia, you stick around for just an extra minute as we go off live. But one more final call to action for the attorneys who are interested. One more time, how do they learn more and sign up for the platform?
Okay, amazing. Please email hello@helloprenup.com. I would love to meet with any of you personally if you're interested in joining the platform. And we can talk a little bit more about how it works and I can demo it for you. My team is amazing and I would love to hear from you. hello@helloprenup.com.
All right. Like I said, stick around, but we'll sign off. Thanks again for coming on Law Subscribed Live.
Thanks for having me.